everybody, how you doing? My name is Antonio Hernandez with Fliplatino. Today I have the privilege to have one of my friends, investor and mentor, RJ De Leon. Welcome, RJ.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. I know you're part of NBR Capital, have also a part of construction company, EJC. Okay. You're a real estate investor and mentor. So tell me, how do everything started,
Wow. Taking it way back. Everything started, I always felt like I wanted to be an entrepreneur, but never really knew how. And I got distracted. I got distracted in job, seeing girls, going out, having fun. And everything changed when I met my wife.
Okay.
We had the same passions. We got along great. And one day we were sitting around together. She said, "Where do you see this going?" And I said, I like where it's going. I was just like,
I don't know.
I don't know. I like what's happening. She said, "No, absolutely not. If you see this going somewhere, you have to have a plan, have to have a future." And I said, "I like real estate." She said, "Great, me too." And it was off to the races. She had already been looking at multifamily, had been working with the realtor, and together we just molded a bond, created a company, and it was off to the races.
Let me ask you this. When you were younger in your family, you guys talk about money, talk about...
No.
Okay.
Actually, my family had a lot of money. I'm Filipino, first generation born here. And it seemed my parents were more concerned about appearances rather than actual financial stability.
Okay.
Dad was an entrepreneur, and he was a failed entrepreneur, though his business didn't work out. My mother was a bread maker, but we over-leveraged ourselves with the house, the car, the clothes, with appearances. And I believe my parents ended up filing bankruptcy in about 2007.
Okay.
Oh, no. Financial...
No financial background.
No financial background.
Do you have anybody to look up, let's say, when you were growing, a mentor or a teacher or somebody who, just, let's say, guide you in a different direction?
Not really. I was walking around aimless. It was just me and my friends just trying to figure out the world. My sister was a huge influence to me on how to hold my head up, how to build confidence, and how to be very sociable.
Yeah.
In terms of work ethic, I would say she had a very good work ethic, but in terms of building businesses, financial stability, things other than social aspects, not.
Okay.
So it's been confusing and struggle trying to figure it out.
Okay. I know you study Masters of Science, right, in Northern?
Yeah. So it's a master's degree in accountancy. So it's an LMAS, Leadership Masters of Accounting Science with discipline in accountancy. I graduated top of my class at Northern Illinois University. I think it's still a very fantastic program, but at the time it was top 20 in the nation. Yeah, it's fun.
So you understand the principles of go to school or have an education, whether it is a formal or whether it is something that you learn from mentors.
Yes, I definitely know both sides of the equation: street smarts, book smarts, education, and just learning by doing. I learned very quickly that corporate is not really for me. And I, embrace the entrepreneurial spirit. And the one thing that I do want to recommend to the audience, to anybody listening, is formal education is very important. Don't let people tell you it's not. Also, doing the best that you can in your corporate career is very important. I've had numerous amounts of jobs that I didn't take seriously. And or maybe I didn't know how to navigate it. But now where I'm at in my career, I look back at where I was, Jones Lang LaSalle, Galvin, Cohn Resnick, large companies, B2B sales. I just don't think I took it seriously. But the skill sets that they were trying to teach me, if I would have immersed myself in those jobs like I do in real estate, I feel like I would be much more ahead. So it seems like I left a lot on the table with those corporate jobs.
But anyway, do you think that helped you, where you're at right now?
100%. 100% it helped me. It helped me for where I'm at right now. And that's why I'm saying that, because I think it could have helped me much, much more. If I would have embraced the corporate jobs like I embraced entrepreneurship in real estate, it would be far more advanced. My knowledge would be far more in depth, and my skills capabilities, everything would have been much more refined and polished.
Yeah. No, and that's great, because that will prepare you to where you're at right now. I know you're a Wilson disease survivor. How did that affect, or how that limits you, or it didn't limit you at all?
So it did limit me. And it was a very scary point in my life. Thanks for bringing it up. I've been on multiple podcasts since, and people are actually afraid to talk about it. So Wilson's disease is technically life-threatening disease. Can be fatal, should be fatal by the time you're 40 years old. It's the body's inability to process copper.
Okay.
I found out when I was 41 years old, and my liver was already destroyed. It was stage 2, stage 3. It was stage 3, and stage 4 is cirrhosis, liver shutdown. Most people don't find out about Wilson's disease until they're lying in a hospital bed dying. My little sister passed away when she was 16. Liver failure. And that's the only reason that the doctors had some assumption of what it was, because she never really got diagnosed with it, because there were many other complications. But I told the doctors, and they went down that rabbit hole, and it turns out I do have Wilson's. So it was a very dark time. One of my very first speaking engagements was right when I found out. And I was scared that I didn't mention it. The thing is, as an entrepreneur, the more of a professional you become, you recognize the dark holes that you go down. You recognize when you need help. Recognize when you need to adjust your mindset. So I was in a dark place for a couple of months, but I pulled myself out quickly. Medication now, it's still difficult, still weighs on my mind. It's only been about a year now. Almost a year exactly, because it was February 2024.
Oh, wow. How long has it been since you find out?
February 16th or 22nd, 2024. I found out. I think it was right before February 22nd, because that was my first on stage. I was raising capital very heavily at the time. That year we raised $3 million or something. So I was on phone calls a lot. I was on phone calls every day, and my speech, it started becoming a speech impediment. My voice was shaky. I would start and stop. I physically couldn't control my speech.
Okay.
And it was very weird, awkward to me. It made me feel like I could see it on people's expressions. They would question if I even knew what I was talking about because my cadence was wrong. It's very similar to early onset Parkinson's with tics and voice disabilities. So that I started going to doctors, and I went to 6 different doctors before they were even able to pinpoint what it may be.
And also, just to open up, it's something that people sometimes doesn't want to talk about, the dark moments or the moments that make you change something.
I realized something. In today's world, this facade is always to be as strong as possible at all times.
Yeah.
And it's really not quite feasible. I don't know when our society changed, when our society stopped supporting each other to the depths that we used to, when the world used to be all about communities. So I realized something, that I'm not strong all the time. If I try to act strong all the time, I'll get myself in trouble. I need to recognize my feelings, my fears, and I need to share that. Now, who you share it with is very important. That's the most important part.
And that's why you have to have a core group that supports you, right?
That's right. Yep. And that's why we created NVR Capital Club. I speak to people regularly, and I have people, including my wife, that I open up to, that I share my feelings, my anxieties with, and they help me work through those times.
Yeah, no, and one of the great things is I met you in one of the events. I didn't know you. I saw you on Facebook. It was great because you just say, hey, how can I help you? I tell you about my event. And you say, hey, I'm going to buy some tickets for my employees. They speak Spanish. That was, a key moment for me when I said, these guys is, is true. But, and that's where started, a relationship with you. What you did, I didn't expect it, and you show up to my event and you stay with you guys, even though, it was in Spanish.
That's right.
So thank you for that. I think you're really great, and I appreciate that. And it's great that we're vulnerable sometimes, and we have to show it. You say, everybody tends, everybody's riches, and they're going great, on Facebook and everything. Yeah. But we all go through dark times,
Yeah. It's very important when you share it, how you share it, but most importantly, who you share it with.
Yeah. So also, I know you, and we talk about this, you've been traveling around the country. You rent a camper, or how do you...
Hopefully everybody in their career will reach a point where they understand and realize that money isn't everything. The physical things and monetary things, they aren't everything. Happiness is everything. Being with your family is everything.
Sure.
We had a bit of success, and we wanted to travel. We want to live outside the country for some time. But we had 3 dogs, a newborn, and we knew it wasn't feasible. So we started researching, and we found RV life, camper life, van life. And we did our research, and everybody tells me this. I wish I could do what you do. And I said, you can. You just got to plan, make the decision, take action. Because I found camper life. Told my wife, she said, make a plan. 6 months later, we were on the road.
Wow.
For 9 months. Bought a 44-foot camper, Starlink, bought a new truck. Not everybody could do it financially, but there are ways to make yourself happy. Sure. We knew that was going to make us happy. Made the plan, found out the plan was feasible, took action. We were on the road by January.
How did that affect, how do you run
It's hard. My business almost failed. My business almost failed twice.
Okay.
It's part of entrepreneurship. I was ready to let it go. It was a high stressor for me. So haphazardly, I put some people in. I just left. I was like, hey, we'll be okay. But it wasn't okay. You know, it was a lot of learning lessons. Business almost failed, came back home, picked it back up, was going to shut it. And then I was speaking about it. A lot of people know me for the construction company, and I said, well, I'm going to shut it down because it's more stress to me than it is help now. Sure. And I have a different lifestyle. But I was telling people, and somebody decided to pick it up for me. We're actually in the middle of a sales negotiation for the business now. Ironed out the details, so I should be selling that company, majority equity in that company within this month.
Oh, it's great, man. And that's what, everybody, he just went up, and nothing happened. It's like, no, we've been through a lot of stuff. How do you manage, let's say, working? Your wife was working also?
My wife is still working. So you're right. Everybody thinks, oh, RJ just went up. They're rich. They don't have to do anything. My wife is working.
So she has a 9 to 5.
She has a 9 to 5 job. She has this stability. And sure, our investments bring in capital. The business brings in capital. But we reinvest everything. Currently, we almost feel stagnant. We did 8 deals last year. Probably more than 8 deals last year. But they're all long-term holds. It's all delayed gratification. So last year, all we saw was money going out. And now I'm here. I feel so stressed, but I have to think back. Oh, I put money in this deal. I put my money in 8 different deals. And it's going to come back.
I understand. I did the same. And I'm just waiting to come back,
Yeah, just yeah.
Right now, you recommend somebody who's going to start in a real estate to leave her job, 9 to 5, and just going into
Absolutely not. Actually, as you said, I mentor a lot of people. Yeah. A lot of people come to me for advice. They either pay me for my time or they're part of Capital Club, which is a paid membership. Sure. So I was mentoring somebody the other day, and he was trying so hard to make his construction company work. He was making a lot of mistakes. And I said, well, what's your goal? What are you trying to accomplish? He said, I want to get out of my 9 to 5 as quickly as possible. I said, you're doing it wrong. You need to think about it differently. That 9 to 5 is your savior right now. How are you running your business profitably? Well, because actually that was one of the questions. His business wasn't profitable because he was just trying to run as fast as he could to build revenue to leave his 9 to 5. Yeah. I said, isn't your 9 to 5 saving your company right now? And he said, yeah. I said, okay, so if you build this company incorrectly and leave your 9 to 5, you're still just going to have problems and headaches.
Yeah.
Be patient. Rely on your 9 to 5 and build slowly. Build correctly. Don't be as impatient to leave the 9 to 5 because right now that's saving you.
Sure.
And I don't always recommend to leave 9 to 5 right away, but I do recommend to be mindful of that influence because that's all social media says nowadays. Leave your 9 to 5, replace your income.
Right away.
And that's because the influencers don't talk about things that you and I talk about the vulnerability, about the dark times, about the stress, the anxiety. In good company is very important. So I would recommend that you join a community or talk to people like you and I regularly before you make that decision.
No, and we talk about this sometimes we have 100, 200, 300,000 on the account.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's nothing, it's zero.
Yeah.
And they say, okay, I'm just waiting, to raise. No, that's great that you can say that because, out there, nobody share, nobody said, oh, yeah, you can become millionaire, in a year.
They're typically the people trying to sell the program so you leave your 9 to 5. To be quite honest, the only reason we've been able to live this lifestyle while investing so much is because my wife has a 9 to 5. And that causes a lot of stress and a lot of anxiety because she's working very hard at a 9 to 5 and feels handcuffed. And I'm working very hard on the business, and she sees me working on the business, and she wants to do that too. So,
and it's a mutual relationship that you guys know that, the 9 to 5 is just to pay the bills, but you're working on your dream, right?
Yes.
In a bigger scale.
Together, so that, once we get that success and it skyrockets, she can leave her job and we're okay. The whole point is to set it up so we could be okay for the rest of our lives. Right now, it's the patience that we're building appropriately to get there.
So right now,
we have pivoted multiple times throughout our career. Is that good? Is that bad? I don't know. A lot of times I feel like I should have just focused on one thing. Where we pivoted is we realized how difficult it is to be very active in the business. So we pivoted to large-scale syndications, working with other partners and operators, so that we could scale significantly as a team and share the skill sets that we all have.
Okay.
So currently, we're building 8 single-family homes, and we've partnered with 2 different developers.
Okay.
And our part is the capital, bringing capital, getting the investors to managing investor relations. Because I have an operational background with the high-end developments, we share subcontractors, suppliers, oversight on the jobs, and it gives me a more grounded viewpoint of the overall
So you oversee all the projects, or you have somebody?
I don't oversee all the projects specifically, like boots on the ground. We have our site managers, and then our developer partner, who's essentially the project manager, developer, GC. But I do go to the properties. I do ask for depth. I do have transparency into the bank accounts, into the construction timeline. Where are hiccups? Where are holdups? Who do we need right now? Do we need a plumber? Do we need an electrician? Do we need new cabinet supplier? Yeah. And because I have experience with that, that's where I step in. And that's where I can help. But it's very important to understand and know when you're stepping on somebody's feet.
Sure.
That's not my job. But if I need to help, I will help.
Yeah. How important the relationships are in this business?
You're setting it up. Of course you know. Relationships are everything. There's a saying in real estate. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And I think that's absolutely false. If you want to go fast, go together. If you want to go far, go together. And the reason is real estate's absolutely a team sport. You cannot even get one single transaction done unless you have a team. I'm talking about a broker, insurance specialist, inspector, attorney, your contractors. You're not going to be doing every single aspect of a real estate close. You need a team. When you want to scale, you need a team. You're not going to be doing construction on 3 projects yourself, even with subcontractors as help. I know investors out there that are still buying the homes themselves and rehabbing the homes themselves. That's one project at a time, typically for 6 months to a year. Especially when you're doing stabilization projects. And you got to lease it up. And if you're selling it, you got to dispose it. There's so many different things.
Now that you took that point, there's people who also use their own cash. Is something, I mean, their own cash, not the bank, So it's a good thing to use your own cash and wait, 1 year or 2 years to finish it up, right?
No, you're setting me up here. You should always leverage, but you should also leverage relationships. You're going to get to a certain point, unless you have a trust fund, unless you have millions of dollars in the bank, which if you do, you're typically not trying to get into real estate. You're going to be tapped out capital-wise. So it's very important to leverage relationships, to build partnerships. So that's one of the things that has allowed us to build a very large real estate portfolio, investment portfolio.
So it's not always, but, use other people's money, right?
Yes. OPM, other people's money, PML, private money lenders. There's a lot of acronyms, but it all starts with relationships. People need to know, like, and trust you. People need to know that you know what you're doing, that you know how to operate a business, that you're tied to the ground in the operations, the operational strategy. Because you're playing with other people's livelihood, other people's lives. So you have to be diligent.
And you have to deliver, right?
Have to.
No, that's great. I think you already comment on this, but do you think it's good to chase money or to chase our dream with money?
With chasing money. As an adolescent, you don't know anything better. Social media nowadays tells you chase the money. And that's what I was talking about. You get to a certain point in your career, in your life, maybe it's age, maybe it's success, where money doesn't mean anything anymore. It's really about happiness and relationships and self.
Talking about that, everybody talks about their why. So what's your why? What are you doing?
I am doing this so that I could spend more time with my family. At the end of the day, it's so that me and my family can live comfortably together and happy, where we eliminate the stressors of a financial burden. Fortunately, it always has to be part of the equation, how society is. But it's up to you to understand how much money is that. And it's not to think, how much money do I need, but what will make me happy? And you'll find when you have $500,000 in the bank, you're happy. But when you have $300,000, or when you have $30,000 in the bank, you're also happy. Because happiness is a mental state. Money doesn't make you happy. That's a testament to all the rich and wealthy people out there that are miserable.
Sure. What kind of pain or hassle, do you go now that you're in this level? Are they bigger than before?
Yes, they're absolutely bigger than before, especially when dealing with other people's money.
Sure.
We have financial burdens out there right now in the millions of dollars. And right now, all we're worried about, all we're focused on is that we deliver. That's me. That's who I am. So I stay up at night. I'm stressed and I have anxiety at night because I'm worried about other people's livelihoods. So it definitely takes on a bigger stress component. And that's all individual for who you are. And as a professional, you need to learn how to manage that. And that's why it's very important to be part of a community, to have friends like you, to have people in the NVR Capital Club community, to have a good wife by your side. Because with negative influences, it's very easy to spiral.
Sure. Do you think the mindset is an important?
Mindset is the number one skill set that you need throughout life, whether you're rich, wealthy, poor, and homeless. Mindset is the number one component to be happy in life.
Yeah, because if you don't have the right mindset, you can't
accomplish anything. And it's not to say, as a professional, we have our moments. We have stressors, we have anxiety. On the way up here, I was listening to a motivational podcast. You know, when I'm feeling down, I do 10-minute meditations in the morning, meditations through YouTube. When I'm feeling down, I listen to Denzel Washington speak, Jim Carrey speak. Some of the greats, like, very random. They're not in real estate.
Yeah, but they have a different mindset.
But they have different mindsets, and they've accomplished certain heights to be able to understand that mindset's what got them there. This is something that I am trying to figure out. It's the chicken before the egg. I absolutely know mindset comes first. But sometimes you can achieve a level of success, and then mindset starts becoming a play. And the people that you surround yourself start talking about mindset more. And you start to realize that mindset is nearly everything. At every single component or stage in your life, you need to understand your mindset.
Yeah. I was going to ask you, some of your, favorite books or podcasts. I know you already mentioned some.
Yeah, right now I'm really hooked on Diary of a CEO and My First Millions. I'm really hooked on those right now. They're not so much mindset podcasts or anything. The best book that I ever read that got me into a growth mindset was Mindset by Carol Dweck. That was an amazing book. Okay. And I still reference the very first books I read, which is Mindset by Carol Dweck, Shoe Dog by Phil Knight, the memoir, Miracle Morning, Atomic Habits. They're all oldies but goodies. Yeah. Also, War of Art, Stephen Pressfield.
Great. So, how do you think you can inspire people?
Me personally?
You personally.
Well, I try to do that every single day. Try to motivate everybody by being transparent, by being authentic, by letting people know that even me, even myself, I have vulnerabilities. Who am I? I'm nobody that's accomplished huge fame or huge wealth. I'm just a guy that's out here hoping to help people manifest their dreams. And how do I do that? I do that by showing up authentically, by sharing my authentic story, by being transparent, and knowing that I'm not the only one out there. I'm not the only one trying to accomplish the dreams that I have. And I'm not the only one out there dealing with some of the stress and anxiety that I have. So how do we do that? We create a community. We create a community of people, and we welcome them in and offer mentorship and guidance. So I keep mentioning NVR Capital Club.
Yeah.
NVR Capital Club is a mentorship guidance program that I created for real estate investors.
Okay.
Because the one thing we know in real estate, there's going to be a lot of major pivots. There are always obstacles. There's never one mentor or guru that can help you with everything.
Exactly.
It's really just a community. It's a community of people that have the same values as you, that are striving for the same things. One of the toughest things I had to do in life was separate my friends that were being negative influences. And I didn't know it was a negative influence. Some people may not see it as that. They're just people that are comfortable in life and are not trying to accomplish the greatness that we're reaching for. Those people, love them to death, and they're great, and they always have your back. But it is a negative influence because they will never understand your mindset, where you're trying to go. They cannot help and support you in your journey. So being able to separate that and surrounding myself with people like yourself, with people that are accomplishing things, that are very goal-oriented and are removing distractions. Those are the people who are going to be the best influences in your life, the remainder of your life, whatever you're trying to accomplish.
Yeah, that's pretty good. What real estate has done for you up to today?
Real estate has really allowed me to identify that money isn't everything, identify that community and networks are everything, that being authentic and striving towards happiness rather than monetary goals is the most important thing in life. The other things that real estate has also allowed me to accomplish is a sense of financial independence. It is a really great way, very limited skill sets, to be able to accomplish wealth building, financial stuff. But you need to have the discipline to move forward and the delayed gratification, patience for delayed gratification. That's really, there's no get-rich-quick schemes out there. I will not stress this more. There are no get-rich-quick schemes out there. All the influencers out there, they have products and programs that, yes, can make you wealthy, but you are going to work hard. You are going to work to the blood, sweat, and tears to be able to accomplish that.
Yep. Sleepless nights.
Sleepless nights.
And a lot of stress.
A lot of stress.
It's not quick, yeah. How do you define success? For you, what's success?
I feel like I'm extremely successful right now. And that's because I have a loving wife, a supportive wife, beautiful, healthy, happy family. I'm overcoming my my physical health complications.
Okay.
And I have discovered who I am and who I want to be. Success.
Yeah, and that's perfect. People think success is have a lot of money. It's not. You get to a point where we say, well, yeah, I have the money, but now what, right?
Yeah.
It's great. What financial independence is, let's say, define it in, I don't know, some word.
Defining it in monetary terms, financial independence, I don't want to put it into a dollar amount. It would be where my wife and I can dictate our own schedules, comfortable with the lifestyles we have, and are not worried about how our children are going to eat or if they're going to good schools, and if they are going, and if we could afford clothes on their back.
Sure. Yeah.
That's financial independence. What that means in dollar amount, I mean, some people could accomplish that with $50,000 a year.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not about the money all the time.
It's not really about the money. It's about happiness, health, happiness, and longevity. So to sustain a happy lifestyle.
What can you? What advice can you give to an investor who is just starting and he doesn't know whether to go into, I don't know, fix and flip and to do rentals? You know, what do they have to, educate first? Or
It always starts with education. A lot of people hate education. It's dry, it's boring. You could only learn one subject at a time. So it's really about networking. That's really honestly why I created the NVR Capital Club, because that's exactly it. There's so many different disciplines in real estate that you don't know what you want to do or what you want to accomplish without experiencing all of it, without networking, without talking to people about all of it. So the NVR Capital Club is actually a catch-all where you get to interact with professionals that do fix and flips, that do wholesaling, that raise private capital, that do large multifamily, that do single family homes. Because the point is that you could pay for a $40,000 a year mentor. What happens when you no longer want to do flipping. Say you pay $40,000 for a fix and flipping program mentorship, and halfway through the year, you realize you don't want to do flipping. What then? That's why networking is extremely important. It's why you have to get out there and experience a lot of different things. Do the low barrier entry. And that's what we did with NVR Capital Club. Very low barrier to enter. And you talk with many different professionals. And that way, if you have to pivot, you can pivot without a large financial burden over your head.
Tell me a little bit about, the NVR Capital membership. Can they get mentors for most stuff? How do they get a hold of you?
So you could go to nvrcapital.us. I like to say us.
I hear
us together. nvrcapital.us. You can learn a lot there, but I'm constantly posting about it. You could come to some of our free webinars. We have mentors and leaders in the program that are experienced in everything, whether it's lending, private money loan, whether it's fund partnerships, raising private capital, and flips, multifamily.
Yeah,
we have multiple leaders that you can speak with and talk to regularly. Direct access. Every single day a month, 24 hours, 7 days a week, with education on the background. So it's actually based in the metaverse. A lot of people don't understand what that means. So I encourage you to come check it out. Reach out to me on the socials. Let's chat. I would love to show you the platform. It's never been seen before, never been done before.
Yeah, I understand, what you say. I think network is a big part also of the connection, right? Because that's how we met. I didn't know you, you didn't know me. So you think network is also a part of this education network?
Yeah, I would say networking and education. I don't know which one comes first. I would say networking if you're naturally by osmosis, you'll start to learn terminology, definitions, strategies. If you're a great people, emotional IQ is one of the most important skill sets to have. People don't realize how much their natural capabilities really turn into the natural ability to connect with people. Those are things that we teach in the Capital Club. We bring that up to the surface, and we let you understand that everything you do, the moment you wake up to the moment you go to bed, is going to dictate how you walk through, run through, or tackle life.
Yeah. When you were little, you'd like to talk to people, or you just learned?
I was really scared. So that's something that my sister taught. I was an introvert. I was scared. I got bullied a little bit. And, when I was 21, I started bartending nightclubs downtown Chicago. Some of the biggest nightclubs.
That helps.
I was so scared. I looked young. Look, I look young. I'm 41.
Yeah,
I look like
now.
I'm 20. So when I was 21, I looked like I was 12. And I was bartending some of the largest nightclubs in Chicago. And my sister's the one that really said, you need to go out there. You need to be confident. It doesn't matter how you feel. It's sink or swim. Be very confident in who you are. You're behind the bar. You're the professional. You're the expert. It was tough, but I was really, throughout high school, she taught me at a very young age, and I started to pick it up a lot more in high school.
Okay. What legacy would you like to leave, in the community?
I hope people will remember me as a a person who brought authenticity and transparency back to the forefront. In the day and age of social media and people flashing huge checks, see cars, talking about get rich quick schemes, quit your 9 to 5, I'm hoping to bring it back down to a level where people understand it's still hard work, still communication, still takes time. Be authentic, you need to be transparent, because really we should really bring it back to a community style living. Back in the early days, everything was about community. Nobody could survive without the community. There were a lot of predators out there. We were actually prey, and we wouldn't survive in the world alone. You need a community, you need a tribe, and that's why people talk about communities, tribes, networks, who you know. I don't know when we got away from that, but it's tough out there. People think they need to make it on their own.
Last question. What do you think about the Latino community?
Is that a loaded question? Is it because Trump's in office? I think, from a personal standpoint, it's very much like the Asian community. But we're underestimated.
Yeah.
We're undervalued. People overlook us a lot. And I love the Mexican community's value. It's all around family. It's all around that community.
Yeah, same as you guys.
Yeah, and you said you were very thankful that I brought my guys to your event. That is because I value my guys. They become like family to me, and I care about their well-being, and I want to lift them up. I want to help them out. So when I found out that you were doing Spanish-speaking events, I've been trying to talk to my guys about that. There's a language barrier, and I said, hey, you want to learn what I do. I want to teach you what I do as well. So if you're interested, I want to bring you to this event. I want to share it with your community. I want to introduce you to the right people that will help you. And that's why I brought them there. So, yeah, you guys are, it's amazing. Hardworking, undervalued, often overlooked. Just like me,
Yeah. No, thank you for your time. I think we can keep talking and talking.
Forever, yeah.
But I think, you touched a lot of points, a lot of great information that people can take, and use it, But thank you for coming to Flip Latino. How do we find you? What's your social media, your website?
Yeah. So I'm RJ De Leon on Facebook and LinkedIn. RJ the Investor on Instagram. You could find me, my website's nvrcapital.us.
Well, thank you for your time. Thank you for coming. This is Flip Latino, Inversiones en tu idioma, in Spanish, and now in English with RJ. Thank you. It was a pleasure to have you.